Okay, this is the critical lap. This is the critical lap. Confirm.
Leave me alone. I know what to do.
Hey, Daniel, how are you? Welcome back to Formula One.
Ooh, baby, it's back. We're back. It's all back. It's all happening.
We are back. I genuinely, I was just giddy. I was talking with coworkers and stuff the whole week before this. I do have, a mysterious day job, and I was talking with my coworkers that are Formula One fans, and all of us just felt like it had been the longest break ever. I don't know if it was just silly season.
I would stand in the shower. I don't sit in the shower very often, but I was standing in the shower in this moment. And I'd never felt so much like that Pablo Escobar Narcos, sitting on a swing by himself with his hands together. I was just like, that's how it feels. I'm just like, man, what? Nothing. It's nothing. It's not
Mr.
even like
Bean
not even
sitting
good
in the grass. Just wait, but
Look, Charles Leclerc sitting on a sand dune on the coast of Holland.
Too soon. It was such a long wait. And then we got Bottas, and we got Bottas. We got
Walter
Valerie.
Bottas.
We got Valerie, and we got Checo signing in for Cadillac, and that was kind of it. Not kind of it. That was it. That's all we got. And I think everyone was we all kind of saw that coming. That one was telegraphed a little bit, so. Yeah, not a whole lot of the silly season, but hey, that's all changed. We are covering the Dutch Grand Prix, Zandvoort, the Netherlands, Holland, all of those names for that place. The race today, fantastic race. So excited to get into that.
Oh,
just all the energy and excitement bottled up. So many highs and lows in that race. We really got like 4 races in one. Depending on how you count. So
you could pause the race on lap like 32.
Yeah,
and that was a ton of action, and then you could just watch the rest of the race as if it was another event.
Just literally just keep checking in with a different race. My reserve drivers kept walking into the room from time to time and asking questions, and they were totally lost. They were just like, "Wait, what happened to he's gone. What happened to Norris? He crashed." That one driver, the tire got ripped off. I was like, you're gonna have to be more specific. Like there were tires everywhere. It was a fun race. So excited to jump in. You have joined us on the Critical Lap F1 podcast. Thank you for joining us today. If you are a newcomer, welcome. If you are a regular listener, welcome back. We are excited to bring you all the exciting stuff that's been going on in Formula One. This is your critical lap of F1 news and updates. And if you're like us, you're still riding the high of F1 being back. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you make sure you save as a favorite, send along to a friend, add a comment. The comments are fantastic. Love hearing from other fans. That's literally why we got into this. So, Daniel, where do you want to start today? What's top of mind after that race? My goodness.
The takeaway for me was the drivers' championship is no longer interesting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just for spoiler alert for those of you watching or listening, spoiler alert: Lando Norris DNF, both Ferraris DNF. So if you're watching and you see my kit, this is just solidarity in memoriam, grieving for those DNFs.
Yep.
There at Zandvoort. So that was my biggest takeaway. I mean, I love the competition. I love I can't really predict what's going to happen. That keeps me in it every single race.
Yeah.
And this race, Piastri was able to pull away in a huge, huge way because no fault of his own. Lando Norris DNF.
Yeah.
Just all bad luck. Not like he hung up
just
the
an
inside
oil pressure
crashed,
or oil
like
leak or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Something
power unit failure.
Catastrophic for the power unit, and not something he could do anything about.
Right.
So now instead of there being maybe it was a 16-point lead, maybe it was a 2-point lead for Piastri, depending on who was 1, who was 2.
34?
Now it's a 34-point lead. Yeah.
Brutal.
Yep.
It's brutal.
So
and
how many races for both the most competitive cars on the grid? How many races? I mean, Piastri has to have a DNF at this point for it to be interesting, like it was again.
He's got to have. Well, I mean, so again, we could be ending the season. I'll put it this way: if Norris is close by the end, or if Norris manages to win this drivers' championship, we're in for a really exciting ride for 9 races because he's going to have to win 7, 8 of them. He's going to have to really clock in some high points, or Piastri's going to have a DNF or two. Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, I agree.
Well,
I
okay,
think we
yeah,
just witnessed the end of the drivers' championship competition.
That's a good point. Maybe it's not only Oscar Piastri DNF. I mean, what's the spread between 1 and 2? 7 points?
7-point spread. Yeah, 25 to 18 points for second place. Yeah.
Yeah. So if currently there's a 34-point lead, that is 5 races where where Norris has to be P1,
and then not
at
let
in the race
win anymore.
And yeah, exactly.
But you gotta just to catch up.
That's just to catch up. Piastri has to place second or worse.
Right.
And Norris has to place first.
So realistically, out of 9 races, he's got to win 5. It's got to be a 1-2 McLaren, and he's got to win 5 of those to catch up. And then he needs to win 2 or 3 more if he wants to pass Piastri, realistically. So, yeah, it's brutal. And like you said, it just there was nothing he could do about it. I think. Let me put my pure fan hat on right now. Okay, this is not hate toward Piastri. This is not like love for Norris. Just from a pure fan standpoint, if you get a DNF because someone crashes into you, or it was like a contentious pass or something like that, it at least gives you something to kind of like talk about. Like, oh, that wasn't fair. Verstappen really drove him off, or Russell was unfair there, or something. With this one, was just like there's nothing. It's just like all the air just got let out of the balloon immediately. Norris just sat down in the grass and like he didn't even say anything. He was just like, it's fine. It's fine. Heartbreaking moment. That was yeah. Thanks for kicking us off with that. With that excitement.
Well, hey, you asked about takeaways. That was, to me, that was the biggest thing.
That was the biggest takeaway.
Was okay. Now, ask me again, and that's behind us, and I may have a different answer. But I don't want to.
Let's do that. Let's
thunder here.
Let's put the brutality of Norris's DNF in that race out for a second, and let's jump into some other highlights. How about that? And then we'll come back to Norris if we need to.
Tell me what the highlight of the race was for you.
Highlight of the race for me was kind of a double edge, and it was Hadjar. Hadjar just having the weekend of his life, holding 4th place all the way through the race. And I know it's relatively easy to hold a spot in this race, but tell that to all the other drivers who failed to hold their spot in this race, despite the fact that there was no rain or any other issues like that. Hadjar just fought his way all the way through, held 4th place. I think he would have had 2nd place if they weren't always listening to the Red Bull higher ups that insist that racing bulls stay where they are. But regardless,
lap.
Great.
I made a note. On lap. Oh, which one was it?
You're about to call out David Coulthard, aren't you? It was lap 39.
No.
Lap 39 to 41, he and Julian Palmer just had like a nice discussion around exactly what we talked about, which is should racing bulls ever just like give up? Like they just give up. They don't like try to. That's frustrating. Yeah, you got me picking. So this is a double-edged sword. I thought Hadjar had a great race, incredible, awesome to see him on the podium. All that's just great. And I think he should have had 2nd today, and I think he probably would have if he'd been in any other car that didn't have Red Bull logos all over it.
Well, you say it's easy to hold the position on this track. There were 3 equalizing events. So he, under normal circumstances, no safety car or whatever, and that's not necessarily normal. You could argue that safety cars are statistically part of it.
Right.
If you just ran a race with no safety cars, the gap you build is the gap you build, and it continues building the whole race. 3 times, twice with a full safety car and once with a virtual safety car. The gaps the drivers built between them and their competitors behind them just got wiped out totally, and allowed for a lot of the pit strategy or pit stop strategy to just go out the window, and people got free pit stops as many times as needed, basically.
Right.
So you sometimes would just get unlucky and run your pit stop strategy the way you were going to, and then immediately after that, safety car, and everyone around you just gets a 17-second stop instead of a 20-whatever-second stop.
Yeah. That race restarted 3 times. If anything, it felt like in statistics or data modeling or analytics or whatnot, you run these simulations over and over and over again, right, to kind of see how things play out with normal distributions and so forth. This one felt like it was like let's just play out like 5 scenarios and see who comes out on top. It's like McLaren's every time, no matter what you do, they're going to always get to the top, and then they're going to start building a gap, and you can reel them back in and get softer tires, and then they're going to build a gap and leave you behind again. And then the rest of the cars, with the exception of the 2 Ferrari DNFs, kind of shuffled in where you would kind of expect them. For the most part, I will say there was a lot of action that kind of like messed that up. But if you took out all the little crashes and scrapes and bumps and people getting knocked off the course, Mercedes looked really strong. Ferrari was looking strong till they crashed. Max is always in that mix at the top, and but that's actually not what happened. We did have a bunch of mixed up stuff. So Hadjar, exciting day for him. He was driver of the day. He's now officially the youngest French driver of all time to be on a podium, which is really cool. Racing Bulls in third. We had George Russell, Alexander Albon, fifth place. Another fifth place finish for Williams, which was exciting to see. And Behrman climbs to sixth, finishes sixth. Where did that
Haas
come from?
And Williams both this week just standing out. Granted, another spoiler alert, Sainz not finished that well, but Sainz looking a little more racy, a little sharper this week than Albon. So I think Sainz would have been in that mix right there in the mid points range.
Yeah, I literally just said, I was like writing my notes down. I was like, man, this was an interesting one. Like, like Sainz and Lawson. And just put a note that was like, nice to see you, Sainz. Like, it was good to have you racing for a little while and see you up there kind of punchy before you got slapped with a 10-second penalty for what felt like a little bit unrealistic.
I mean, if Alonso's cursed, Sainz is like, cursed with a capital C.
Is this the year of the Spaniard curse? Like,
I don't know.
Although, okay, did you hear Alonso's radio message at one point where they asked him how like the new tires were for him? He was like, I don't know. You always put me into traffic.
You always put me back into traffic. Yeah.
But then they immediately went to the booth and they were like, he started in 10th. Where did you think you could pit and come out without traffic?
Exactly. And then he pitted, and then he was like, can we fix this? He pits again and somehow finishes in the points after pitting. At one point he was like 18th or 19th running.
Right.
It was basically like him ahead of the people that were a lap behind, which I think were Sainz and Lawson at the time.
You know, it does feel like an odd day in the sense that going into the weekend or going into the practice sessions and then hitting qualifying on race day, I think everybody was kind of feeling like, man, Aston Martin's having a really rough weekend. You know, Lance crashes out and they like do okay, and then Alonso has a pretty good qualifying, and it's looking, he was looking pretty good up qualifying and so forth. And so with going in, there were all these different storylines on who was going to do well, and the McLarens were dominating all that. And then at the end of the race now, I feel like there were probably a lot of people stepping in and be like, boy, you guys had really great strategy, and Alonso really working with you on that strategy. But for most of the strategists on the pit wall, my guess would be if you got a car in the points, you don't really know how that happened. You're like, all right, we pitted them for fresh tires, and then there was another crash.
Well, especially in the kind of race that we had, where, to your point about like modeling the different potential outcomes.
Yeah.
2 safety cars, a virtual safety car, a little bit of rain, but nothing big enough to change tires or anything like that. That is an outlier I think that's an outlier. I don't know what percentile it lies in terms of likelihood, but that is an outlier.
Yep. Yeah. It is unusual that all the talk was about rain and the rain that we were supposed to get. I wrote this down as well. The Piccietto, I think was pitter patter. All the talk was rain. Basically, got no rain.
Did you catch the little playing the piano?
The what?
From Andrea Stella?
Oh yeah. Where he kind of
he was just like
playing those ivories. Yeah, tickling those ivories.
Tickling the ivories.
It was supposed to be all rain. We didn't get really any rain. The rain didn't really have any effect on anything. I do think it's funny that about halfway through the race, I was thinking, boy, they looked at the weather, and then Pirelli said, we'll use softer tires. And boy, this is going to make it exciting. We'll force the pit stops. And all the drivers were like, nah, we'll just do it one stop on a hard strategy. And then thankfully we got some stuff to mix it up. Yeah, I mean, exciting race overall. Some unusual people up there at the top, besides picking it up in 7th place, Lance Stroll. Fernando Alonso in 8th, Yuki Tsunoda in 9th, and then Esteban Ocon scoring is a double driver points day for Haas, which again I think Esteban Ocon benefited from that late DNF from Norris, but
weird day for Lance, honestly, because specifically he crashed out in qualifying yesterday on just a very lazy mistake, I would say, just like not choosing the right line into a corner, which I think is probably a fireable offense if you're in one of the 4 Red Bull cars.
But not if you're in one of the Ferraris. Go ahead.
Well, we're going to play a little game of Boopsie or Whoopsie later. Don't worry. We'll get into that.
Okay.
But yeah, weird weekend for Lance because it doesn't qualify well. Doesn't start well, obviously, because of his place in qualifying, and then just drives this crazy race where he even has a collision or some contact with him. I think it was Bortoletto early on in the race. Not his fault. Not his fault. Did everything perfectly, and it's like, where is this Lance? Where is this Lance when we need him?
Yeah.
AKA the rest of the season. Where is he? Where is he when you've got a pretty decent car, a team with all the resources they could ever want? Where is today's Lance Stroll?
That's such a good question. I was thinking the same thing. I feel like there's so many races where he has a terrible qualifying, he has a terrible practice sessions going in or something, and then I just look up and he's like 9th and just marching his way up through the field. I'm like, how is he doing this? There's other drivers out there that are having this like incredible weekend and they qualify really well and they just lose like 6 places on the start and they can't, they have a terrible pit stop or something. I don't know. Lance Stroll is a surprise this year, especially. He's a surprisingly effective driver for a driver that I think we throw under the bus a lot.
I mean, he's been driving for years. He's got something that all the rookies don't have, which is just reps.
That's true. He's got a lot of reps. It's not a terrible car. Aston Martin has been, I would say, kind of surging back for the last few races here, starting to look at least a little bit more consistent, a little bit better.
Yeah, trying to be best of the rest. If only they could just get in front of Haas and Williams.
Right.
Whose budgets combined probably might get close to Aston Martin's.
It was a fun race from the sense that somebody was always about to pass someone else. It didn't necessarily always materialize to be a pass. I'm always looking for gaps under a second, like anybody else, when you're watching for who's going to make the next pass. This one, you really had to adjust your standards there. You had to look for gaps under like 0.6 seconds. Anything higher than 0.6 was not an immediate pass about to happen, which was interesting. One thing I want to call out, I thought was interesting. I mean, great race for Verstappen. I know like sometimes we just forget to call out how great Verstappen was. I felt like, and Daniel, I don't know if this is fair or not, I felt like this race was like a vintage Verstappen is a very good driver, doing the absolute best with some limited machinery. Qualifying 3rd is impressive enough on itself, given that he was on soft tires and so were the McLarens. And then in the race on soft and medium tires compared to, medium or hard, he's not able to keep up with them. That tells you that he is slinging that thing around in qualifying to get in 3rd place. And then, like we said, he had how many restarts? Like 3? He had at least 3 chances this race on every time on softer tires than the McLarens. And every time he was punchy, he got the pass done once on Norris. It looked like he was going to try to take Piastri. He hit that sand, almost lost it in the first lap. Somehow
that was miraculous. I mean, that is, I don't know what the margin is there for. I think he was on it. He was on the actual limit of 1 more millimeter. Before catching that oversteer. And it's a crash out DNF versus sticking with it and ending up on the podium at the end of the race.
It's crazy, and I think we've gotten used to seeing it. Sometimes we get glimpses of it. I think with other drivers, like feels like it's been a couple of years now. But Hamilton in the rain or something, and somebody be like, "Man, he's just got this feel for the car in the rain." You're going to see something special with Hamilton. I'd say we haven't seen that in a little while. Hamilton's a whole separate topic today, but. Yeah, Verstappen, it's almost like we get too used to it. We get too used to seeing him get a big snap like that, straighten it back out, and keep racing competitively. It was impressive. It was a little bit, I think, disheartening again, just putting my fan hat on. No matter what he does, he can't get past the McLarens. And I didn't like it in 2023 when Verstappen, just no one's going to touch him. He's gone. And that Red Bull was so quick. And I don't love it now when the McLarens are so fast that you can be on softer tires, you can scrap forward, and then you're just still going to get passed and left behind. But
well, two things come to mind here when you talk about 2023. What if there was a papaya rule situation at Red Bull in 2023 where a driver was in the other car who we know could win and we know could qualify well, who proved capability there? Now, granted, I know he didn't perform that well his last however many races. Fine, yeah, the car was getting away from him, but we know that he had the ability and the talent to take that car and do something with it, and to, I mean, frankly, beat Max sometimes certain circuits.
Yeah.
What would it have been like if there had been less control and preference given, aka this papaya rules situation we see here? Because when you say no one could touch Max, I'm like, yeah, well, someone could have.
Yeah.
And that's what we have this year with the McLaren dominance. We had it last year a little bit too, where we see the dominant car with a really good driver, but he's not just running away from him because there's another good driver in that same car.
Right.
And I think I just want to say thank you to McLaren for giving us the gift of some competition this year, because they could just have some rookie driver or some less developed driver than Norris or Piastri in this amazing car, and one driver for McLaren would be knocking it out of the park, may already have enough lead to actually have the championship in the bag.
Right. And they could just say,
now. And at that point, to me, like, the season's kind of over. What are we even watching for? So I think this is really good for the sport that
agreed.
McLaren is doing it the way they're doing it.
And that's why you came in so heartbroken by that DNF by Norris. I am as well, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. Just tying it all together here.
Yeah, that was a hard ending for sure. So some other action that I thought was interesting, the Antonelli and Leclerc crash, which they
so before we get into details here, I want to throw a quick reaction your way. This is a little segment of the show that's new this episode. I'm going to call it Boopsie or Whoopsie. In other words, did the driver causing the incident do it intentionally, Boopsie, or was it truly a racing incident and an accident, Whoopsie? Right. So number one, Boopsie or Whoopsie? Stroll Bortoletto.
That feels like an oopsie. That feels like
Agree.
I just got here. I'm figuring it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe a little bit more confidence than I should have because I had a couple good races in this car.
Right.
Okay.
Boopsie or Whoopsie? Sainz Lawson. Now we can argue whether or not Sainz should get the penalty or Lawson should get the penalty. In my mind,
Boopsie.
Well, whatever.
Boopsie
I'm not going to
Boopsie from Lawson on that one.
Yeah. Agree. 100%. Boopsie from Lawson.
Yeah.
Boopsie or Whoopsie?
This is how I drive. This is how I do it.
Antonelli Leclerc.
Boopsie. Antonelli Leclerc. This is Antonelli spinning Leclerc around at the end, or you're talking about knocking him out of the race entirely, because we already skipped over Boopsie or Whoopsie, Russell Leclerc. But let's go Antonelli Leclerc.
There was a Russell. Oh Oopsie. Yeah, because Russell got. That's right. Leclerc. That was
we'll
hard
back to that
for
one.
Leclerc.
I think it was an oopsie. I think Antonelli just got a little gutsy on that turn, and you just can't do that.
Okay.
I feel like you disagree with me on that. You think Antonelli was like,
I'm going to give you the Robert De Niro look of doubt.
Okay.
So
you think Antonelli, this is a little bit of a, hey, if you're not rubbing, you're not racing.
We're fighting for the same spot in the Constructors Championship. We've already DNF'd one of the Ferraris. What would be better? Like, let's just seal the deal.
I mean,
Antonelli got a 10-second penalty, which, I mean, that's culpability in my mind.
That's
on paper.
Yeah. I think it's probably hard to make those calls. That one felt like to me like he just took an inside line that's just not there. But I could be convinced either way. I want to go back though because we skipped Leclerc
Russell
smashing his way through that inside
just
line.
like I think the word the commentators used was barging. Just barged his way through. None of this Midwestern. Hey, I'm just gonna sneak right past you. No.
Well, and that was an odd one where even Russell was
is.
like, surely he was off the track. Like there was no space there, and he just came through on the gravel. That one felt odd to me. I don't know that I've seen Leclerc do a move like that. Just kind of, hey, excuse me, I'm coming through.
The word finesse comes to mind when I think of Leclerc.
That's exactly the word that I was thinking.
He left the finesse in Monaco. He lost it during his summer break.
All done.
He showed up to Holland with elbows out. Let's just say that.
Yeah. No more piano. No more tickling those ivories. It's time to put some bumpers on these cars. Man, I remember I was watching that and I was like, is he even going to like try to pretend like he's not just pushing his way through here? And they just drove wheel to wheel for like a good 50 yards before they broke off. Man, yeah, it was rough. I'm going to call.
The funny thing is, back to my Boopsie or Whoopsie, you know, Antonelli catching him up on the inside of the bank turn there.
Yep.
Could have just been payback. Could have just been Toto being like, take him out. You know,
sweep the leg, Johnny.
Payback. We will not wait for after the race to investigate.
Yeah, we are back.
Sweep the legs, John.
he took Leclerc out so cleanly that I thought that should be in the F1 movie. Like he should C for chaos, and then he just spins him around, rips his front wing off. You're done, and then just goes on to drive and get several points for his team. Impressive drive by Antonelli. I listen. If I am the team, and Antonelli pulls back into the garage and is like, "Oops, that was a little rough, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's all right. You did good job, buddy. That was great. That's fantastic. Come on in with several points here, and good stuff." It was
Speaking of race. Russell got a little damage to the floor from his altercation with Leclerc, or I think that was who did it, right? A little bit of bumpy bumps, the barging and whatnot.
Could be.
Antonelli's behind him. I think it's lap 41. Radio message from pit wall. Swap positions.
So George, with this damage on the car, I think best opportunity for the team is invert cars at turn 1.
Sorry?
Because of the damage to the car, we're going to invert the cars.
Russell's reaction was priceless.
Yeah.
Priceless.
Sorry?
Sorry?
And I don't know. So he was in lap 30, he was Mr. Hall Monitor. I forget who was in front of him. I think it was Leclerc.
I don't remember this one. What did he say?
He was like, moving under braking. Like he kind of had this like moving under braking. and then when they told him to swap positions, his response was, sorry?
Sorry? Like, I must have misunderstood you.
Yeah, like the most British, like, excuse me?
Yeah. Sorry. I think you pushed the Russ button and not the Ant button to leave me alone. I'm doing fine. It felt similar to when they called Sainz and told him he had a 10-second penalty. And he was like,
that also
who has a penalty? And they're like, we do. You have penalty.
Who gets?
You get. Oh, brutal day for Sainz. Yeah. Great messages though. What else? Any other highlights from this race that we need to cover? There was a ton.
I mean, we talked about Ollie Behrman starting from the pit lane and finishing 6th. I think we touched on that, but basically,
man, rookies went off today.
Yeah, Ollie qualified whatever he qualified. They didn't follow Parc Fermé rules. They kept modifying the car, so he had to start from the pit lane. I think they just took it. I think they knew what they were doing or had the intent to do that. They just thought they didn't qualify well enough.
He qualified 19th.
Yeah.
Which only 19th because Stroll crashed.
Yeah. So at that point, they're like, we're gonna fix the car or whatever.
Let's replace everything.
And something was put back together correctly because the man finished 6th. Some of that was good strategy. Some of it was a lot of it was probably 2 safety cars, but still, pit lane to 6th.
Everybody's strategy is good when there's 3 safety cars.
Right. We just haven't seen that type of show out performance from a non-top tier team.
Yeah.
In a long time.
True.
In recent history, recent memory, I don't have one.
And it's an odd thing after a race like this to try to go into winners and losers. They always do the winners and losers summary. And it's an odd thing in the case of Behrman, who I don't remember seeing him do a lot in this race. It's not fair to him that I didn't see it. There was just a lot to watch, right? So he's moving around, they're pitting, there's different things happening, and suddenly in the front, it's an odd thing to say, like, who are some of the winners this week? Like, well, Haas, they had 2 cars in the points, Ollie Behrman in 6th. That's impressive. Like, yeah, I can't really remember a moment where I saw the 2 of them and thought, man, that was a killer move. But yeah, great outcome for the team. You know, it's just like an odd week like that where you have cars really kind of doing some impressive moves, some impressive racing. Norris, for instance, and then he's just out. It doesn't make any difference. But yeah, I think that's a big takeaway. I had an odd thing that I want to throw out there as something that I'd love to see more of in Formula One, and this is an odd one. This is some off the track one. Can we get a Marshall cam, like on? Or can we invest
Just
in
mount
like
something to a hard hat, please?
Yes. Or here's what I was thinking, Daniel. Did you see all the shots? I feel like we don't see this most of the time, and sometimes they show a shot and it's like 4 dudes just like with brooms, like sweeping stuff like sand off the track, like getting that gravel off the track or whatever. This one in particular, there were like 2 shots where marshals were running out on the course as fast as they could as soon as the cars went by and grabbing pieces of stuff and running back over. And the crowd is all cheering. There was one marshal that ran out there to get like one piece of a wing plate that was in the middle of the starting stretch. And again, the crowd's cheering them and stuff. And I thought, this is fantastic. Why don't we have Marshall cams like GoPros strapped to their head, and you can see them like holding that rail, just waiting in the last car, and then they jump out and run out there and try to grab as much debris as they can get. And I think we give them points for how much debris they collect.
Ooh, I like this. Are we doing, by the kilo or by the fragment?
I mean, I don't think we can convince all of F1 to do like pound at this point. So I think it's going to have to be kilo. And I think it's got to be kilo over fragment. That's just, I mean, that's not fair. You like find a piece of a broken wing and you win because it's big, But
I don't know. So when you go to a race and the race ends, you get to walk out on the track. They open it up and the fans can just whatever.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things is finding a piece of a car that has been missed.
Yeah, run out there and find shredded piece of carbon fiber.
Yeah, especially if you can get like a bit of a logo. If you get a piece with like something still attached, and you can be like, this is the so and so from so and so's car.
Right.
That's pretty cool. So when I see marshals going out there grabbing it, I'm like, someone's not getting their souvenir.
Put it in a box for people to like grab. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they can just go and shake it out on the track like they do at like roller skating rinks with candy for the kids. It's like they dust it back out on the track. Like, all right, go wild. Yeah. Something like that. I think they could make it more exciting is my point. Also, I think like, why are we still using brooms? Like, can we not come up with like some really cool, like street sweeper type, like go-karts? So, and they just swarm out there with little yellow lights flashing on them. And I think we could come up with some exciting things.
You've got all this battery powered equipment in the pit lane, for like cooling and blowing dry ice and stuff like that. You'd think that there would be some sort of traveling tech for the marshals.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, why are they all jogging out there with like push brooms? This should be exciting. What I'm saying is like, have you ever been to a rodeo? I'm finna lose half of our
Have I ever been to a rodeo?
Okay. If you've been to a rodeo, you know that like you only get to sort of see the bull riding or like the, bronco riding. It's like 1/10 of what you get to watch. And even if you add in all the other stuff where they like, rope cattle and stuff like that, it's still like half of it. The other half is just some clowns running around and in barrels and doing jokes and stuff. My point is, if as many crashes and stuff as we have, we should like it's probably 10% of every race is marshals cleaning something up. And I think we should see that. I think we could invest a little bit of time in that.
I do think the gamification of marshals doing their job would be fun to watch. Now, granted, in this race, I think that a marshal was allowed to go out on the track because of the bunching of the cars. This was like right after maybe the virtual safety car, maybe the second safety car. But a marshal ran out onto the straight.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't it was one of the straights, I think, under non-safety car conditions to grab a piece. And I think that's the one you were talking about because there was one female marshal that did it under safety car. She got cheered on.
Yeah.
She kind of had this like bashful moment, which was kind of adorable. But then I was surprised. I was surprised that they allowed a marshal to go out and grab a piece of debris. I
We are
guess like you were
missing
saying, like
an exciting part of this race. That's what I'm saying. We've got to get a
yeah,
marshal cam.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if that's happened before,
Yeah.
my point here is we saw it this time, which means it's very likely that it's happened before, where a marshal does this like life endangering
Yes.
move where he run because like trip on a shoelace, twist
Yeah.
your ankle.
I want their radio. Because
Yeah,
they have someone in the ear that's like, go, 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 go. And they have to like run out there. Like cars are coming. You have 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and they're like gathering things up and then have to run back off again. Right?
correct.
There's
Yeah,
somebody with their finger
surely.
on the yellow flag button in case something happens to
Or
like
red flag. I mean,
stop the train of
if we
cars
got
coming.
man down on
Yeah.
the racing line, like we
Right.
need to red flag that.
I think we should do it. I think we should do it. Now, then it would just lead to an entire whole like new reality show around F1, like the marshals of F1. There's, they got sprinters out there.
Sweep to survive.
I would watch, I would watch that. I'd be super excited about that. That's just a random side note. If I'm on random side notes, I'm going to throw one more out there. Stop using the audio from the helicopter when the helicopter's doing the shot of the track. It's real weird to just have like rotor noise of a helicopter.
Yeah, the high pitched whir of the turbine engine and the
yeah, or even on the drones. It's like, well, we don't even you can't get like a microphone down the track to. That's another little pet peeve of mine. All right, I know that was a little bit of a sidebar there, but I just wanted to catch that. All right, we covered Verstappen, we covered Hadjar, we covered a lot. Do we need to talk about Ferrari? A little bit about Ferrari here.
Yeah, I mean, I almost threw Hamilton in the whoopsie or boopsie just to be funny because nobody booped him. It was just a whoopsie. I feel bad for Hamilton because he almost recovered. He almost had it back. He was just a little too late in the turn to get out and away or back onto the line and away from the barriers. I feel like both of them would have had a pretty decent race if not for the incidents.
Yep.
Incidences. Did you notice though? They kept giving you shots of Leclerc lounging on a sand dune.
Yeah. He just
And
went
for
to
most of the time,
beach.
there were just photographers around him. Like it was almost intentional. Like he was just there for like a beach shoot in his racing uniform, helmet off, like legs crossed. He's literally lounging. He's literally like he's got the beach on one side. He's got the race on the other.
Yeah. Breeze.
The last time they showed him, he was using a cell phone.
Yeah.
He was like listening to like a voice message or something on his cell phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this man either has his cell phone in his pocket when he starts the race, or they came to get him and he was like, no, thanks. I'm just like, just give me my bag. Just let me have my things. I'm just going to chill here. I got to decompress. I cannot handle this whole situation where I like literally fought tooth and nail to get to the position that I was in. And I totally just got booped.
Right.
By Mercedes.
I would assume somebody gave him a phone to call. First of all, I wondered whether he could get back, and I didn't. I didn't pull up. I should have looked at the track and seen how the track was laid out. I couldn't figure out if maybe it's an old track and they couldn't get him back because he's like on an island of grass where there's no real way to get back. But just, I don't know. That can't be. They've got to have little side roads to all of that. I think he just was. They were like, "Hey, we've got a moped for you to go back," and he's like, "You know what? I'm just gonna."
The sand dune's calling my name.
I'm gonna climb up here on the sand dune and look at the ocean. That finesse came back real fast. That reserve.
Thank you for that, Charles. I mean, that was class. That was all class.
But that was straight. Mr. Bean just like flopped beside the highway waiting for his ride, just in the grass. Just that was sad. Sad Leclerc is sad. He crawled up there. I assume somebody gave him a phone. What I would love to know is, was that phone just logged into an F1 TV subscription? And like he's just listening to the commentators.
Yeah. He's just like, how does this race end?
And how awkward, because the commentators called it out. They're like, he had a cell phone. I'm going to guess somebody gave him that and he didn't have it like tucked in his sock somewhere.
Yeah.
Because FIA is going to give him a massive grid penalty for the flammability of that phone if he carried that with him in the cockpit.
Right. Yeah. What kind of like power unit, wireless controlled situation can you have with a mobile device tucked away?
Yeah. I mean, What a bold move. It reminds me of like a few years back when NFL players would start sneaking Sharpies in their socks and stuff, and then they'd like get a touchdown and pull it out and sign the ball and like throw the ball up in the crowd or something. And they got in big trouble because you can't have a marker in your sock, because it turns out when you're smashing into other men, you can't have a marker with you. That's dangerous or whatever. I don't know. So that was a big deal.
The word sharp is literally in the name of this item, right?
Yeah. I'd love to. That's exactly right. Super dangerous. What I'd love to see is Leclerc like win a race, and then just as he's doing his cool down lap, just pull a phone out and take a selfie in the car. Just take your penalties, take the fines, and the fans would love it. That's what we're here for.
There is a sponsor out there who would give him the money to pay for the fines.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I would 100%. Give him the money to pay for them. I would start the little crowdsource fundraiser for the millionaire who lives in Monaco.
Yeah.
And the phone. Hey, I want to go back though to commentators, because I forgot about this. I wrote 2 things down about commentators this week. First of all, anytime David Coulthard is in there is fantastic, and I missed him a lot.
Yeah.
Because he's a little bit like Nico Rosberg. He kind of knows no one can mess with him, and he can say whatever he wants to say. So they had 2 things, and we already talked about one a little bit. Lap 39 through 41, they called out that Hadjar was having a great race. And then they started having the same debate we had about racing bulls. And DC suggested that Hadjar might be called upon very soon to be like the rear guard for Verstappen.
Right.
And then Julian Palmer very quickly was like, oh, they have to operate as separate teams though, don't they? And they just had this little debate on it. And I want to know, quick reaction, Daniel, does David Coulthard, is he just not protected enough in what he says that he's calling out the reality that Hadjar is going to be told not to pass? He knows not to pass Verstappen.
Absolutely. In fact, aside from David Coulthard's opinion, there has to be a modeling scenario where they tell both V-carb drivers, Barb, whatever we call them these days.
Yep.
I
forgot
racing
about Barb.
bulls.
I knew better.
Raging Barbs.
Raging Barbs.
They tell both drivers, now, don't you dare. Don't you dare pass Max Verstappen.
Yeah. Don't do it.
So
not here.
I'm assuming that. I have no factual basis upon which to justify this claim. David Coulthard, however, seems to agree with me that he's going to be called upon.
You're not gonna pass him. That's all right. Listen, we've already ranted enough about that.
He doesn't have to have a filter, and he's probably paid to not have a filter because he's a driver. He's a former driver. He's a well-known former driver, just like Julian Palmer, just like Martin Brundle. In fact, these guys. Now, granted, David Coulthard is much older than Julian.
Yep.
Julian.
I don't know. I've never heard that name.
So he's less worried about the rest of his broadcasting career, whereas Julian probably wants to keep doing what he's doing and doesn't want to make any of the.
No, that's not true. They don't do that. Yep. So Julian's got to protect it.
So thank you. This is going to be the episode of gratitude.
David Coulthard.
Thank you, David Coulthard.
Yep. No. Okay. So that was one. Number 2, David Coulthard just straight up suggested that Lance Stroll on purpose hit that trash on the road trying to pop his tire. Did you hear that? It was he just
I remember the replay. I remember the replay where they were like, he hit it perfectly with his tire, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just came around the corner and hit it. And then David Coulthard was like, I gotta assume he hit that on purpose. And then again, Julian Palmer or Alex Jakes or whatever was like, why would he do that? He's not doing that. And it made me think, I think David Coulthard has been watching too many TikToks about like how Lance Stroll is just purposely crashing or purposely doing a bad job or doesn't really care. Because again, it was like, I also don't know why he would do that, David. He just got new hard tires on. I don't think he would just run over trash for no reason. But that was number 2, little sassy moment from David Coulthard. Number 3 was where they just openly said the stewards need to make these decisions and stop waiting till after the race to tell everybody what the penalties are going to be.
Yeah. They both seem to feel pretty strongly about that. And I understand from a driver's perspective, and they explained it very well, which is why, like, Antonelli and Leclerc, I don't say both of them have their home race coming up next week, but it's a big race for Ferrari in Monza.
Right.
It's a
Right.
big race for any Italian driver in Monza. Why would you not be given the penalty now so that you can serve it and have the best chance of performing
Right.
at your important race next week? That's a little tone deaf from the stewards, I think.
Well, and their point, they called it out. And again, I don't know how many times we can pitch back to other sports and American sports and whatnot here when we're talking about F1, but there's in every sport there is a requirement that the referees, the umpires have to make decisions on the field. You cannot just be like, we're not sure if that touchdown counted. Let's keep playing. And then afterward, we'll go back and let you know if the touchdown play.
Right.
It's like, you can't do that. Like, people have to make decisions for the rest of the game based off of what happens. And they called that out. Leclerc crashed. And they're like, well, now what are they going to do? Like, they're going to presumably have to apply a penalty to him to Monza if that's what's going to happen, instead of just letting him serve it here. And then we wouldn't even be in this situation. He would have served a penalty and been 10 seconds behind Antonelli, and they wouldn't have had a contact. And so now we wouldn't have all these problems. So I agree with them. They have to make the call, and you can still do instant replay and go back and have like a review of that.
Yeah, but there's this sort of feigned situation where the stewards are just, there's just so much happening. They're so busy and like they just can't, like, no, we don't have time to review. We can't review. We got to keep watching the race. It's like, surely you can put two people in a closet somewhere, watch it a few times, come back with like ABC, and then one senior person mediate or arbitrate or whatever the word is, and just like, boom, this is the decision.
Right. There's got to be. I mean, like that, they've got to fix that, because that's becoming an increasing problem. And then it hangs over you. You don't know what's supposed to happen or when it's supposed to happen. And then occasionally they'll just chuck out a penalty with no time limit. You're like, science, 10 seconds for science. What the heck is that? Like, what?
Right.
Give that a little thought before you just drop that weight.
Who gets? You get.
You gets. Carlos Sainz. Oh, what a rough season for him. Do we even need to talk about Hamilton? Part of me doesn't want to talk about poor Hamilton until the guy cheers up a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, Lewis, if you're listening, we appreciate you. We love you, even, some of us. Come on the show. Talk to us.
Hey, come talk to us. We'll cheer you up.
Tree of trust.
Look, and I don't want to be tree of trust, but also, like, can I say something as a fan? I'm going to throw this out as a fan. Lewis fans out there, be gentle. Be gentle with me.
Go for it.
You need to buck up, buddy. Like, you are 40-year-old who is the most successful F1 driver, I think, by many metrics. You were tied for first with the most championships. You're in a Ferrari making a whole lot of money, and no one's coming for your seat. Nobody's even suggested that they should take your seat away. They're going to make a Ferrari that's like kind of named after you. You're going to be okay. And like, part of this is a little bit of like coaching encouragement, and part of it is a little bit like, come on, bud. Like,
some
the coaching, a little real talk. The coaching, the coaching encouragement part is like, you're going to be all right, man. Like, you have a great career and you still have a lot of great days in front of you. The little like kind of get it together here is like, there's another driver out there who's far less successful than you, but once was really great. And his name is Fernando Alonso. He's been racing longer. He's gone way longer without a whole lot of success. And he's not, I mean, he doesn't come out all bubbly and cheerful and, singing
he does claim that he's cursed, but other than that.
But then he gets his job done. He moves on and occasionally smiles. And if part of me says, if you put Fernando Alonso in a Ferrari, we'd get a little bit of a better attitude. And so there is just part of me that's kind of like, hey, we're not going to do this forever, Lewis. Like, you're going to start running out of fans who kind of get tired of you pouting about everything, when in reality, it's like, hey, I know the car is probably not perfect. It's probably not the best. Sorry about that, bud. You're going to have to get after it. You're going to have to start driving, start smiling, start signing some hats for kids that want a signature, and enjoy your life. Sorry. That's just throwing that out there.
Listen, that's a great hot take. Honestly, I agree. It's a little, I think maybe you prefaced it as potentially harsh. I don't even think it's harsh. I think it's real. And I think people in Lewis's circle who care about him, who are willing to speak the truth, probably have said something like that. However, the exceptionalism or the crazy, you're the 0.001% of your sport if you make it to this level. Same thing goes for Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, whatever. But this is global, not just not just America. You've made it to that point, and you happen to be the best that's ever been at that point.
Sure.
There's something going on
There's
in
a
your
high
brain
standard. Yeah.
where it's just there's a different bar. Exactly. Yeah.
I guess, and I get that, but hey, make your choice, Lewis. We love you. We love for you to stick around in F1. But to be honest, right now, I think you have more and more fans kind of turning away from it because you're just in a bad mood. You're not performing. You're not in a great mood. You're not enjoying yourself. Sad Ferrari is sad, and we're like, all right, well, I'm going to go look at Isack Hadjar and people who are having a good race and have a little bit more positivity. Anyway. All right, I'll let up.
Well,
I'm going to let you
The
up,
funny thing
Lewis.
about all that, too, is Fernando Alonso was once in a Ferrari. And I actually don't know how it went for him. I don't know.
I should go back and take a look.
If he was allowed to say a whole lot, if you know what I mean.
Fair enough.
We should take a look at that. Maybe a little research project for our assistant Chatty G.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to suggest that. I think all of us in life are doing our best not to crash out on certain days. No pun intended. Lewis, doing an interview at the end of a race and saying they should change the driver. Come on now, bud. Yeah. They're not going to change the driver. No. You don't need to suggest that. It's not. I know you want everybody to be like, no, we're not. Don't do that. But there's some of us. Yeah, there's some of us who are like, all right, let's get Valtteri. Where's he at?
I mean, put Sainz back in the Ferrari. He was doing great last year.
So, yeah, thank you. Put the smooth operator back where he belongs. All right, let's do some quick reactions, yeah?
Yeah.
I got one for you. What did you think the red button would do before Oscar Piastri slapped it at the end of the race?
In my mind, you had about 4 seconds to be like, okay, there's a red button. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
In my mind, I was like, is Staples?
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, is Staples still around?
That's an easy button.
Yeah.
Staples is a new sponsor for F1, and we're seeing them in Holland for the first time. Huh.
How much did they pay to get that red button out there? Huh. I love how the whole world is like, that's an easy button. Like, oh no, it's a red button for the for fireworks. I mean,
this is I saw the Target logos on the wings, the rear spoilers of the cars again. This time. Or, I mean, I noticed it and it registered with me. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those where it's like totally unintended marketing, but I think millions of people around the world, at least the ones who know about Staples, are talking about Staples probably right now.
I bet their stock already jumped. We should probably check that. Oh, that was an easy. I also thought it was a easy button. So I was like, what's going to happen right now? It's like Staples going to show up, or like that was easy. I was waiting for a really awkward moment because I thought that's going to be really cringy if it's like, well, that was easy. Not really. I mean, you had to work for this one.
Two things come to mind here. First of all, I don't think Oscar Piastri knew what was about to happen when he hit that button.
No. Number two, I would have looked up for the slime because I was a kid in the 90s.
Yeah,
so green slime is coming down on your head. Yeah. Okay.
Number two, we now have an opening for TNT Fireworks to be a sponsor in F1. Now that F1 is getting bigger in the US of A.
Yeah.
You think about it, there's fireworks at every race. What if TNT was the official fireworks provider for all? I feel like that's a win-win.
Hey, Daniel with the hot take, but it's true. Listen, America, we do some sports well. Like in terms of like the accoutrements of the sport. You give us a couple workshops.
What does accoutrement mean? Is that a French word for hype? What is that?
Yeah, hype, like all the extra. Yeah, is that French? Is that Hey, we got them accoutrements. You give us like a few brainstorming sessions. We'll fix the whole marshal situation, and we're gonna strap GoPros to them. We're gonna get a really cool like
marshals
bikes
are getting Roman candles in their back pockets.
Oh, yeah, they are. They're gonna fire them off when they're clear.
Marshals are gonna wear a TNT fireworks kit. Roman candles in the back pocket.
They're gonna go jumping onto the track with like big bungee cords and pick stuff up, and then you just give us a little bit, and we'll get it squared up. It'll be something special. Daniel, you got any quick reactions for me today?
I threw out the Boopsie or Whoopsie.
That was
we talked about Leclerc lounging on the sand dune. What do you think he was thinking? What's going through Leclerc's mind?
Man, I like to think that what we saw today was Charles Leclerc with some maybe very long practiced. I don't know the right term for it, where you talk to a professional who really helps you deal with stress and strain in a way that gives you good mechanisms to kind of like work through situations like that.
Tools in your toolbox.
I think we saw that today from Leclerc and Norris, because Norris, he hit a Zen moment too. Like, and he kind of got out, and his post-race interview, he even said, I can't do anything about that. Like, this was something out of my control. And that felt very mantra-like. Like, I will control the things I can, and the things I can't, I'll let go.
And I will not kick the tire on this car after I wreck it.
I will not kick speaking of kicking the tires, when you said Hamilton just taking that turn, and it was like, for no obvious reason, I really want that little gif of Max Verstappen kicking and knocking the cars off the track.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it. Hey, one last one for you. We'll just come all the way full circle.
Yeah, come on.
Quick reaction. Will Norris be able to get the Drivers' Championship gap down to single digits before the end of the year?
I'm hopeful. I have faith. Yes, I think the F1 universe will bring us some randomness where something happens to Oscar Piastri. I'm even hopeful that it happens in the next race at Monza, where they're bringing new power units. One of them gets priority because power unit is less than operable.
They're probably already putting it in Norris's car as we speak.
Right. So could we see a McLaren team going like, well, this is going to take a little longer than it would have, or something like that. Sorry, Oscar, you may not get your power upgrade until the next race. And then there's just some sort of similar outcome. I would love for the scales to be rebalanced.
Bring balance to the McLaren force.
And then we get to see this crazy competitive race for the World Drivers' Championship. Trophy until the end of the season.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not even going to ask the question I was going to ask, and I don't even want to think about it. I was going to ask, at which race will they start saying, Lando, you need to move, but by your rules? And on that note, it's time to end. Thank you for joining us today on the Critical Lap. If that one stung, come on back. We'll talk about happier things. Welcome back to Formula One. We're in the second half of the season. We're well into the second half of the season from the number of race standpoint. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please like. Please add us to your favorites. Pass it along to a friend. Add a comment in the notes section. Some words of encouragement for Lewis Hamilton. I think he needs it today.
Yeah.
And on that note, thanks again. Thanks for our legendary pit wall producer, Chris P. And hey, enjoy F1. We'll see you next time on the Critical Lap.
Later.